So if you've been following me for a while now, you'll know that at this time of year, in the middle of winter, I love cyclamen, especially the houseplant cyclamen or the florist cyclamen. It's actually hybrid from Cyclamen persicum. And I have a little modest collection, which I'm going to show you in a second, but it's come to my attention by looking at Instagram that there are some far better hybrids out there. And I thought it'd be really nice to have a little look at them. So first off, let's just have a look at the kind of thing that you can get in the UK to brighten up those miserable winter days. So we're going to have a little quick look here at some of my collection. It's not a spectacular collection, and I have to be honest, it was much better last year and the year before, but there are a couple of reasons for that, which I'll tell you in a second. So we've got, this is the kind of thing that you can get in this country. So we've got the plain colours. There's quite a few plain, just solid colours, which are very nice, don't get me wrong, but wait till you see some of these others that I've found. This is just about the most kind of complicated you can get in terms of graduation of colour on the petals, where we've got these kind of striations here and the white around the edge there. Of course, we've always got the lovely marble leaves. This is one of my favourites for the leaf colour and the leaf pattern. That is really, really nice. You could grow that on its own without any blooms. So you can see what's going on here. Now, this kind of thing happens naturally as the petals and the flowers go over. They've had enough. They turn to the sides and start to drop, the petals fall off, and then you get that little seed ball there which gets plonked into the soil or whatever's nearby. Another solid colour, a larger plant here, little bit of puckering on the leaves there, could possibly be tarsonomid mite. I've not sprayed them at all this year. So we've got the solid colour there. There's another one there that's not actually in bloom yet. It's a bit slow, this one, but it does have quite a few buds on it. Very, very slow for this year. And let's have a look over here. A couple more solid colours. We've got this lovely red we've got here. This is the kind of thing that you just tend to get in the UK. We don't really tend to get much else. That's a nice one because you can see how it changes colour as it ages. It goes more purpley as it ages. We've also got probably my favourite, but again, not the best it's looked so far. This is a really big one. I've had this for a while. Let me just turn that light off so that it's not flickering. So I've had this one for a few years. This one is a really large tuber and it's getting bigger and bigger. So you can see this has like a feathered edge to it. It's a really big bloom if you look at it compared to my hand size. And then right underneath there, we've got the darker pink. It's a beautiful thing and it really is one of my favourites. And right next to that one, a smaller one, but kind of elongated. And again, I'll tell you why in a second. So this is another one similar to the first one that has like a graduation of colour, whereas this one is more white towards the end of the bloom, or I don't know whether that's the end or the beginning of the bloom, the bottom of the bloom, should we say, whereas the other one that I showed you earlier was more white round the edges of the petals. This one in particular is kind of elongated, and that's my fault because when it was first beginning to come back to life, I put it in too dark a spot. So that's basically what's happened there. They're just elongating. So I'll just do a bit of a sweep round the collection that I've got at the moment. Not a great deal. There's not a lot going on there. So what have we got? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plants there all in all. One of them hasn't come into bloom and one of them looks distinctly dreadful at the moment, and I'll quickly zoom over to that one and show you. So this one, as you can see, is not looking particularly fantastic. The culprit, I don't know if you can just see in the middle there, see that kind of slimy trail? Culprit is slugs. Slugs have caused that, and it's not bloomed and it's not going to bloom this year. And it may well die off. It all depends whether the tuber can get enough nutrition and enough goodness to kind of swell up for next year, but in my experience that doesn't always happen. So what's happened with this one is that I've not noticed the slugs been there, and what they do, because it was all kind of packed down there, and what they do is they come along and they love to chew the stems of not only the blooms but the stems of the leaves as well. And all that happens, you can just see they kind of flop over because they chew them at the base. That has also happened to a number of these plants down here. I caught a couple of slugs last night, and no doubt there's a few more in there too. I put some slug pellets down, as you can see, and this is partly what's going on with this. This is why these are flopping over a bit, because they've been nibbled over at the base there. So Two things that's my fault though. Well, that's one, isn't it? I'll tell you the other one. The other thing that happened is over the summer when you back off with the watering and you let them die down, I actually let them go too dry. I let them desiccate. Now obviously I'm in a greenhouse here and you get lots and lots of heat in the middle of summer through the glass despite the shade, and you cannot let them go completely dry. You know, it's one thing letting them go dry and the media is just ever so slightly moist, but what you don't want is that media to go totally crispy and pull away from the side of the pot, and that's what happened with some of mine, and that's the reason why I lost a couple of them and why they're not looking as fantastic as they did the year before. Or that's what I think is the reason. This is all down to trial and error and hopefully learning from mine and other people's mistakes. So you've seen my modest collection. Why do I love them so much? Well, there's a few reasons, a number of factors. Firstly, they're quite cheap. Secondly, they look absolutely gorgeous, especially in the middle of winter when there's not a great deal going on. Thirdly, they're fairly easy to look after if you just follow a few rules. Fourthly, the leaves look fantastic just on their own, and you do get quite a variation in the leaves and in the marbling and the patterning. 5, they're unusual in that the petals are reflex. They point backwards, and I think that's something that really makes them stand out compared to other blooms. And I've totally forgotten what number I'm up to. Sixthly, last point is that you can actually get them to improve year on year. If you can get those tubers to improve and go bigger and bigger, then you will actually get a better plant year on year. So having said that, the question is, where are these rare varieties coming from? Why are there no rare varieties over here? Well, of course they wouldn't be rare, would they, if they were? I've noticed that as the years have gone by, they've actually gone worse in terms of the availability and the variety that we've got in this country, in the UK. I remember several years ago, it's about 20 years ago now, I actually had a scented Cyclamen persicum in the house, and I kept it for several years, and it got quite large, and it was gorgeous. It did actually fill the room with scent. I can't remember the last time I smelled a scented Cyclamen. They are scented in the wild. That has been completely bred out of them. I believe they're trying to bring it back, but what a shame. And in terms of the actual hybrids and the variety of hybrids, if you take a look on Instagram, there are loads and loads of fantastic varieties, and we just don't seem to get them in this country. So what I thought I'd do is I've taken a few snapshots of some of these fantastic varieties that I've seen. I'm calling them rare because they're rare over here. They might not be rare in other places in the world. I'm thinking that most of these are hybrids of Cyclamen persicum. They might not be. Some of them might be hybrids of some other species of Cyclamen. But the one thing in common is they are all fantastic and they look really, really nice. So have a look at some of these and see what you think. Okay, let's get into this. So in order to do this properly, I've got my phone filming myself, and I've had to get my own phone, my old one, to actually see the photographs, and I'll put something on screen so you can see it properly too. So this first one, I mean, look at that, isn't that amazing? So this one is from, I'll have to read this, the account or the Instagram account of the.lost.bee. So what I'll do is I'll put all the links to these people in my description, so if you want to go and visit their Instagram account, you can do. It's all there for you to just click through. So we're going to start with that one, and this one is, I've never seen anything like this before. So this particular Cyclamen, it has like not just reflex petals, but they're splayed out as if it's some kind of whirligig, some kind of helicopter. I've never seen that before. So you've got that gorgeous kind of pinky lilac, and then towards the base of the flower, you've got it, the darker colour. That is a gorgeous, I've never seen anything like. Why is this not for sale in this country? That is just stunning. And the strange thing is, this particular Instagram account, it looks like it's a UK account. And I have asked them, where did they get this from? Where did they get this photograph from? And they said they would find out for me, but they haven't come back to me yet. They did say that they weren't very good at remembering the names of plants, so I can relate to that. So that's the first one. I would like that one in my collection. That would be fantastic. So let's move on to the second one. Okay, the second one is from the Instagram account 705_garden, and this appears to be all the way from Japan. And this thing is all ruffled and fluffy, and the owner of this Instagram account actually told me that this one is from a series of Cyclamen called Cyclamen Fluffy, and they actually provided a link to a catalogue. I think it was Hong Kong, but I think this particular plant is in Japan. Again, never seen anything like this this before. And when I went on the website, you could see a whole range of plants like this with these ruffled petals. This one is particularly gorgeous, but you should be able to see, if you go onto this Instagram account, you should be able to see loads like this. And if anybody wants the link to this particular website, you know, just let me know and I'll send it on to you. But a beautiful, beautiful plant, very unusual, nothing like anything that we can get in this country. Why not? Let's move on to the third one. Okay, third up, again, never seen anything like this one before. So this one is from the Instagram account picon_01, and this person's actually named it Cyclamen Victoria. Now, I've done a bit of a search on Cyclamen Victoria and I haven't actually seen anything that looks just like that one. What's unusual about these particular blooms is that they are varying colours and they have these swirls in them. It's like some kind of swirling, twirling stripes, and the petals are all twisted, and you've got all these various shades running down the stripes. Incredible. Never seen anything like that before. Again, an absolutely glorious plant, glorious bloom. I think so far this is my favourite out of the ones that I'm going to show you. I'm only going to show you 6, but this one is an absolutely stunning plant. Why can't we get it? Somebody please tell me. But a beautiful thing, isn't it? And definitely rare in the UK. Okay, fourth is from another Japanese grower or owner. You can see a kind of a theme going on here. So this is from Toshiko Koron. Again, I'll put the link in the description to the Instagram account. And what's unusual about this one? Well, take a look at that. The colour isn't unusual, but what is unusual is the way the petals are arranged. They're kind of sticking out, they're not really reflex. And look at the sepals. The sepals are a different colour. Now, I actually found various plants on the market, again, not in this country, that had that kind of arrangement where the sepals were different colours. These would fly off the shelves if they were for sale in this country. But alas, I've never found them. If anybody does know, by the way, where you can get any of these plants, please tell me in the comments. So yeah, that was another beautiful one with the different coloured sepals on the back of the flower. Great thing to have, that would be, in a collection. Okay, so to number 5. Now, I have actually seen plants similar to this, certainly in the marbling on the leaves, which is actually quite attractive. But I've seen something where the edges are a slightly different colour, but not to this extent. This has a really nice contrast between that pink and then the white, and the edging actually comes halfway down the petal. So that again is something that I think would fly off the shelves in this country. But alas, you know, I go to the biggest garden centre that we have in the area and all you get are whites, reds, pinks, you know, the darker reds, just those colours, nothing else, nothing that's anything like as interesting as this. So yeah, I just don't understand why these things are not available over here, but you know, it's rare. That's why I'm drawing your attention to it. Okay, for my final and last plant to show you. So this is from, again, I think it's another Japanese owner, Kakinuma.flower is the Instagram handle. Now, I've got a little bit of footage here, so I'll put that up on screen if you're not already looking at it. And it's 2 plants. And what's so fantastic about this, again, is that it's totally different from anything I've ever seen. The actual bottom of the flower is pointing upwards. Never seen anything like that. We don't have anything like that in existence in this country that I've come across. So rather than normally they point downwards, don't they, with the petals reflex backwards, well, this is the complete opposite. This time the reflex petals are pointing down towards the plant itself, and the bottom of the flower, which normally points downwards, is pointing upwards. Very, very unusual, and you've got it in abundance there on both of the plants. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, so there's 6 different varieties for you, and I could go on and on. If you have a look on Instagram and just follow the hashtag Cyclamen, there are loads and loads of different varieties, some that you will have never seen before, I can absolutely guarantee you. So let's hope that the growers and sellers over here in Europe and in the UK catch up with this, what's going on over, it seems, in Japan. I also saw various varieties from the Mediterranean, in particular the western side of the Mediterranean, where of course the cyclamen come from. That's where where they're endemic to. So if you know where I can source any of these, then please tell me in the comments. If you know anything about them, tell me in the comments, and also tell me which is your favourite in the comments. That will be really interesting to see, and tell me why. So the thing is, if you grow these plants, or if you're considering growing these plants, then you'll want to get the best out of them, and you'll want to make sure that your care routine matches up with my care routine, and that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. At least I'm honest, I did tell you what they were. So if that's the case, then you'll be wanting to go and watch this care video for Cyclamen persicum hybrids over here. And for now, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.